And we're now in Florida talking with Chris. Chris, you're with Allworth's Money Matters.
All right. So I'm 63. My wife is 60. We're both retired, lifetime DIYers from an investment perspective. We own our home and have no other outstanding debts. And we're really kind of focusing on trying to make our portfolio tax effective, tax efficient. So from an investable asset standpoint, we've got about
well, one thing, the cleanest thing is stay out of Chicago and be in Florida full time. That's from coming from two guys living in California. So
yeah, exactly. Well, Illinois is not as bad. Certainly not as California.
No, I get it. Okay.
All right. So from an investable asset standpoint, we've got $2.5 million in pre-tax accounts, traditional rollover IRAs. That's allocated about 24% in stock, 39% bonds, and 37% in treasuries and CDs. And then on the after-tax side, we've got $10 million, 57% in stock, 12% in bonds and preferreds, and 31% in treasuries and CDs. Overall,
can you give me the breakdown on the $10 million in the brokerage accounts?
57 stock, 12% bonds and preferreds, and 31% treasuries and CDs.
Okay.
So overall, we're sitting at about 50% stock, 18% bonds and preferreds, and 32% treasuries and CDs.
Okay.
So last year, go ahead.
Fire away. Keep going.
Okay. So last year, I opened up a DAF, a donor advised fund, so I thought I'd have some room to do a Roth conversion. So I did some modeling with both a $50,000 and $100,000 Roth conversion. But when I looked at the tax cost of doing it, the incremental cost was 31% or 32% for each of those scenarios. And because I lost, because of the higher AGI, I lost some medical deductions and then the net investment income
that's
tax
why you got to run the numbers.
Right?
That's what I was talking about. You got to run the numbers.
Exactly.
Because you get these phase outs.
Yeah, so I stopped and said, okay, well, maybe it's not the right time to do it, even though I thought I had the room to do it. And so my first question was, do you agree conceptually with that stopping, or should I have pulled the trigger?
What's your other income?
It's all investment related. There's no other income other than the investment related income.
And you're not taking Social Security?
Correct. Holding off on that probably till.
And how much did you do in the donor advised fund?
50,000.
And how much is in there now?
About the same. So we just made one. So I don't have. It was a new fund.
Okay.
Brand new fund.
Okay. All right.
And are these in your brokerage account? Are these individual stocks or ETFs?
No, it's funds. Yeah, mutual funds predominantly.
And
that
most of them
been
have
around a long time.
Low cost basis, and they're
Yes.
All right. Ones you wouldn't necessarily buy today, but it doesn't make sense to sell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that you move those type of assets into the donor advised.
Okay. For the small.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to actually get rid of all the stock in your IRA and put it.
I was going to say the same thing.
Put it in the brokerage account.
Yep.
And then get rid of all your bonds, or not all the bonds, but to get to the 50-50.
You want all your
bonds in the IRA at the end of the day.
Because your IRA relative to your net worth is relatively small anyway, right? Have that all fixed, have that fixed income. And if the market tanks dramatically and you're like, well, shoot, I wish I had more fixed income in my brokerage account, you could always sell some equities in your brokerage account and repurchase in your IRA at the same time. So it's
so this gets down to asset location. So
right, that was going to be my next question: do I move the stock that's sitting in the IRA or swap it out with?
That's right,
swap it out.
All of it. There shouldn't be any stock in the IRA whatsoever.
Okay.
Right, and you get the.
And do you own any munis in your brokerage account?
We do not. We do not. Some preferreds, but nothing beyond that. We do have. So the only other issue is the bond portion that's sitting in the taxable account. Of course, is tax exempt bonds. So there's not a lot of bonds.
Oh, it is tax exempt
outside of. Yeah, in the 12% that's sitting in the after tax brokerage account.
They are munis then.
They're municipal bonds then, tax exempt bonds.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So those were really my two questions. Was one, did I make the right call stopping the conversion, and then do I have the right location issue with that 600 in stock? So I don't.
Yeah.
I'll move that.
I think you did.
What was your adjusted gross income last year?
Around AGI. Hold on. 260.
And that was all from the accounts.
Yeah, because there's quite a bit sitting in cash and treasuries.
Yeah,
spinning off quite a bit.
That's gonna fix some of that.
Some of it.
It will fix some of that.
Just even dividends though on stocks are gonna.
Yeah,
but I think they're qualified dividends.
I would start Social Security if I were you, Chris.
Okay.
Only because when this Social Security Administration runs out of money, they're not going to cut benefits to poor people.
Right.
They're going to cut benefits to rich people, and I got bad news. You're rich.
All those articles you read, the financial articles that wait till 70. That's true for 90% of Americans.
Yeah.
But not fat cats like you. So yeah, I would do that, and the Roth conversions. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay.
I mean, I'd look at it every year, but I don't think you've got a lot of room. The only thing you could do is actually make this as tax efficient as possible in the brokerage account. I would even look at a tax overlay on this, Scott.
Yeah. Well, I mean, without looking at how the brokerage account, my guess is it could be managed more. I would spend all my energy on how to make that as tax efficient as possible, given whatever allocation you're comfortable with.
Okay.
And there's wherever you have it housed, they have all the custodial houses.
And I would run the numbers every year about converting to Roth, even if it's 20 grand, 40 grand.
But I would do it after I made sure it was a tax overlay.
Correct.
On top of
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When you say tax overlay, what do you mean by that?
So where do you custody?
Vanguard predominantly. And
they'll have something that can.
Why are you custodying at Vanguard?
What do you mean?
It's where we started, 20 years ago.
I know, but you can't. It's not a multi. It's all Vanguard stuff, right?
Yes.
Can't you have a brokerage account? Can't you own other stuff?
I don't think you can own other stuff at Vanguard. It's a mutual fund company.
Well, we can't. Yeah, you can't. Well, we did move some. We moved some other funds from like American Century into there, so they're holding.
Okay, they
holding
have
our
a traditional
funds.
brokerage account then. They're a mutual company. Yeah, they're an interesting structure.
I can't imagine that they have an open platform as much like Fidelity or Schwab or Pershing or.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they would have a tax overlay or not at Vanguard. I don't know. It's an unusual place to leave that much money.
Okay. Yeah, about 70% of it's sitting there, but the rest is at Schwab. And honestly, the stuff that's at Schwab is just the cash and treasuries. That's the.
How much money do you have in cash?
Too much. 3.2
million.
Yes.
And when you say cash, what do you mean by cash?
Oh no, treasuries.
Okay,
okay, thank you. Scaring me.
I figured
sorry.
You scared me.
I would have been shocked if you said you were.
Yeah, I think I'd push these all into one custodian, quite frankly, and then I'd put the tax overlay on it.
And again, what do you mean by tax overlay?
So what happens is there's firms out there that work with the custodians that actually go through your portfolio on a week-to-week basis and look for any losses to offset gains. And you can set a tax budget on the portfolio.
There's a fund that you hate. Let's say you hate your American Century Fund. Maybe we sell off a little bit each year. So, I mean, part of it, without looking at your situation, before you do the Roth conversion, it might make sense to trigger some tax liabilities by making your existing holdings more efficient.
And I assume that
you know what I mean?
Some of your stuff is you're reinvesting it. I assume at Vanguard you're reinvesting dividends and capital gains, so going back into the same funds.
I was until last year because we got rid of a lot of the international exposure that we had a number of years ago, and so I'm replenishing the international side with dividends.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the tax overlay. So just ask any of the custodians, and like I said, I can't speak for Vanguard.
And they'll give you a proposal.
And they'll say, this is how much we're going to charge. They'll charge 5 basis points or 10
to
basis points, and this is what it does. And you set a tax budget on it. Right? So it's what you should have been doing automatically. You should have been doing
I'm
manually.
going to circle back and say, my guess is the greatest value is not determining how much Roth conversion to do each year. It's just determining what your how much tax you're willing to pay to improve your overall brokerage account by selling some of those old holdings.
Yeah.
I have one question before we go. Chris, how long has your portfolio been 50-50?
Not very long. It was obviously it was less stock, right? It's been improving to that 50-50 because of the last few years of results.
So it was 40-60, let's say a year ago.
A couple years ago.
What drove that? What drove that?
I wish I could tell you that I had a really sound basis for it, but other than being a really conservative person, no, I don't have any.
That's all I needed to hear. All right.
Yeah.
We appreciate the call.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks.
All right,
Bye-bye.